So let's move on to another part, which is climate action. That's actually the last point that they have in the overall green European Green Deal project. There's the other projects that are in between that we haven't mentioned. If you go to their webpage and then click on the headings, all of this is just press corner, and there's just one document that's like a PDF with 2 pages, just like an info, whatever paper with a few key facts. It's very corporate, like nothing else is there, right? But if you click on the climate action headline, it takes you to this page, the climate action webpage. That is very comprehensive, where there's a lot of resources, a lot of information, and so this is the section that is actually expansive. It looks like the climate change part of the European Green Deal is the one that is most important to a lot of those people, at least from how they present it, because that's how the page is structured. And so the climate what the climate action then involves is, so there's 3 points, and it says, first, climate action initiatives under the Green New Deal include European climate law to enshrine the 2050 climate neutrality objective into EU law. So we actually haven't said that. The main objective of the European Green Deal is just getting it wrong. Is climate neutrality by 2050. Salah said that in the interaction.
So what does climate neutrality mean exactly?
It means producing as much, being able to absorb as much carbon dioxide as you emit.
Right. Okay.
That's just it. It's just about carbon dioxide. It's not about, as far as I know, it's not about other things. It's not about any pollutants. Carbon dioxide is not a pollutant. It's a greenhouse gas. That's a thing. It's not a pollutant. It doesn't make your river green.
Well, everything's made of carbon, so isn't like 20% of the atmosphere.
Yeah,
carbon,
but I mean, it can take different forms. Like that's
sure.
But anyway, it's not something that's gonna make your river great.
It's not gonna make your tap water flammable. And things like this. Yeah.
So climate neutrality doesn't, as far as I know, doesn't address pollutants. It addresses only carbon dioxide, which is a thing of itself. So there's many issues. So we can't get into all of it.
I'm sure if Piers Corbyn were here, he'd be able to give us quite a rundown.
Yes. Yeah. And so the second point is European Climate Pact to engage citizens and all parts of society in climate action. Okay, so
oh god, what is all parts of society?
So
okay, here we go.
So what is
here
that?
We go.
What is
that?
See,
I told you I could call them fascists.
So European Climate Pact. What is that then? So we then go to the European Climate Pact website. And what do we see on top?
The very worst art style in human history
is a graphic that looks very much like what the UN published on Twitter. In the last week or so, there was like the town.
It was the UN's women thing, where there wasn't a single straight white man on the thing.
There was like. Equality Avenue, Inclusion Street, Recycling Plan for Toxic Masculinity, things like that, right?
We should go through it, in fact.
And so we covered it elsewhere, but not on Lotus Series. And so that's what that looks like. And now we're gonna watch a video that's just under that heading.
Wat ser kliché?
Mas é verdade.
Mamy tylko jedną planetę.
Trebuie să o protejăm.
Dobbiamo prendercene cura.
Да й показваме нашата любов.
Η κλιματική αλλαγή είναι μία από τις μεγαλύτερες απειλές που αντιμετωπίζουμε.
Mais nous pouvons tous agir.
Para ayudar a combatirlo.
Ja rakentaa parempi tulevaisuus.
Združimo moči.
Dela idéer med varandra.
Inspiriamoci l'un l'altro.
Um neue Lösungen zu finden.
The European Climate Pact is here.
Y estamos impacientes por empezar.
Az Európai Éghajlati Paktum mindenkinek szól.
Chaque action compte.
No ambition too small.
Jer možemo svladati ovu krizu.
Maar alleen als we het samen doen.
Maar zing. Together.
Samen.
Zusammen.
So, will you join us?
No, you creepy cultists. This makes me want to run away. Like, the way this is being presented is if I'm being groomed into a cult. I can't stand it. I can't stand anything about it.
It hurts to watch.
It does.
Like I feel
And
like I'm being
against,
propagandized.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. I'm not against the idea of
sure.
looking out for the climate. I'm against the idea of being turned into a weird climate cultist.
Yeah. So this doesn't propose
God.
anything. It just calls for people to join something.
Yeah.
They don't actually mention what the actions are, what they're supposed to, like, okay, that might be adjacent, and then might be like further
This
things.
just strikes me as the sort of thing that accumulates with the idea that actually people are the problem, so drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah. And it's just like, it just calls for people to join, so it's like it's very cultish, as you said.
Yeah.
It's
not very appealing to me anyway. Yeah, I don't like it at all.
So what actions can actually people take, right?
Yeah.
There will be many ways to take part. Here are some of the first. 1, become a climate pact ambassador. Right.
Okay.
Take climate-friendly action and make a pledge.
Oh my God. Right. Okay.
Okay. So pledge.
Right. So what's the climate shahada like?
So pledge. What is that? You go to the pledge. So pledges can be commitments from all types of organizations, from school and community groups to large public and private organizations and businesses. A pledge could be related to the way the organization operates, produces, communicates, and motivates citizens, employees, customers, and stakeholders to take action. So it's just as vague.
Yeah. Yeah. What does that mean? What do I take away from that?
It means that you personally, or as an individual or as an organization, can take steps to address climate change, right?
Sure.
And the steps might be, I don't know, to recycle and things like that, right? Or like some kind of, like from these traditional green things to do to kind of new commitments, like you can decide to be a vegan or something, and and then
right.
And so these types of things, right?
Yeah.
And so another thing that you can do is to take a step on Count Us In. So what's Count Us In? The European Climate Pact and the global campaign Count Us In are joining forces to inspire citizens and communities across Europe to take practical steps to reduce carbon pollution. All Europeans will be able to take a step to reduce their own carbon footprint via the Count Us In platform, from talking to friends, walking and cycling more, reducing food waste, to insulating a home to save energy. The 16 steps have been selected with experts from the UN Environment Programme as the most effective ways for individuals to reduce carbon pollution. So, yeah, so it calls upon everyone to kind of to do these nice things to help the environment. Okay, fine, right, whatever.
Yeah.
So this might be nice. So
let's just fast forward to the Jonestown moment, man, because that's where this is going.
So like these things might be nice. Okay, you can do things that have some impacts on the environment if you can adjust your behavior a little bit and it doesn't hurt you very much. Fine.
Yeah.
What's the harm in that, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Like, I'm not against that or anything. But what is it about registering and kind of sharing with people that like you are committed to this and you do this? Like this is very like cultish. It's just the most awful virtue signaling there is.
Yes.
I hate the phrase virtue signaling. Like, what am I supposed to use? Right?
It's
to face
just
this.
accurate. That's the problem.
And so, just okay. Let's be kind of charitable. Maybe this works. Maybe this works best, right? You play on people's vanities. You kind of offer them. you can offer them a way to show everyone how great they are and how they'll like do the great thing that you need them to do, and you get them to do what you want, right? Maybe that's the best way to actually get them to do what you want, right? So
that's an awful way to get them to do anything, because then it's not about the actual thing that they're doing. Then it's only about themselves.
But they do it.
I guess they do.
Yeah.
But they're insufferable.
It's not about them. It's about what you want.
Yeah, well, I guess so. But then you've got to live with incentivized, insufferable virtue signalers who are sitting there going, "I'm better than everyone else because I did my recycling." So, oh God, you know, just can't. And for some reason, I'm for some reason, and like as an atheist, this surprises me. But I'm getting messages from Jesus coming up in the back of my mind from the Bible. Like, don't pray in public. The person who prays in public is the vain man. You know, pray in private.
Mm-hmm.
You know, don't let people see you praying. Don't go to church. Just, you know, go home and pray for yourself. Like, it seems to be the total antithesis of this principle. But the thing is, that principle has real merit. But anyway, I'm not promoting religion. I'm just saying that.
No, this is a different religion.
Yeah, this is a different religion. Yeah, sorry.
So let's go back to the climate action page. Like we went on a rabbit hole a little bit. So let's get back.
God.
So on the climate action page, we have key EU legislation and policies. And so you can see on the page like these couple of things. So things like the emissions trading system, which is that you have some emissions that you're allowed to put into in the air that either sold or allocated by the EU, and then they can be traded on on a market that's created by this. This is not unreasonable. Like this is.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's completely okay, but it's better than a lot of other solutions to similar problems. So and then national targets for sectors outside emissions trading, such as transport, buildings, and agriculture, ensuring our forests and land contribute to the fight against climate change, reducing greenhouse gas emissions from transport through CO2 emission standards for vehicles, boosting energy efficiency, renewable energy, and governance of EU countries' energy and climate policies, promoting innovative low-carbon technologies, phasing down climate warming fluorinated greenhouse gases, protecting the ozone layer, adapting the impacts of climate change, and funding climate action. Just wanted to go quickly through this for people just who listen just to the audio. So the strategy that I'm seeing from this, like these kind of 10 points, is whenever something sounds good, just write it there. Whenever something sounds bad, just obfuscate. just make it sound very cryptic and something that people can't really imagine anything under, right?
Yeah.
And so to get some like useful info about some of these things, you need to go outside of the EU's own webpage, because they're not going to provide the negative things about it, right? So let's go to Wikipedia. Why not? So on the Wikipedia of the European Green Deal, you can find aims of the Green Deal. So the overarching aim of the European Green Deal is for the European Union to become the world's first, quote, climate neutral bloc by 2050. It has goals extending to many different sectors, including construction, biodiversity, energy, transport, and food. The plan includes potential carbon tariffs for countries that don't curtail their greenhouse gas pollution at the same rate. The mechanism to achieve this is called the Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism, CBAM. It also includes blah, 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 other things, right?
Yeah.
So, carbon tariffs. How do you come to that? One of the main selling points of the EU is the elimination of tariffs, right? It's the kind of lowering the barriers between member states.
Frictionless trade.
The single market. The abolition of tariffs is a good selling point. That's a great selling point. And it's the main selling point of the EU. That's why most people joined, to just kind of like get these barriers out of the way and not to have to deal with them, because it takes a lot of time and energy to deal with those things.
It costs money.
Yeah, and it's counterproductive. So why not? So this is literally the opposite, like carbon tariffs, right? And so it's understandable though in the situation, because like what are you gonna do, right? You're gonna impose all these restrictions on like climate restrictions on industries, on production, on everything, and then if you don't put in carbon tariffs, you'll have like the dirty part of Europe and the clean part of Europe. The clean part of Europe will be the one that's gonna adhere to those policies. The dirty part will be the one that's gonna be producing and then exporting their products to the clean part, right? And so they're aware of this, obviously, and so this is the solution, because like, what are you gonna do? you created this, yeah. So like more fundamentally, why do they need to do it? Like, why is this actually necessary? Like, it's about regulation versus deregulation, right? If you have an EU that is about deregulation, that is about lowering tariffs, that is about making things more transparent, that is about lowering the barriers to trade, either domestically, which is regulations, or internationally, which is kind of tariffs and border stuff. That's deregulation, and if you deregulate, you have less of this type of friction, so it doesn't lead you to more regulation that you would need to put in, because it works on its own. But if you regulate, the more and more you regulate, the more you restrict production, the more you restrict consumption, the more you restrict anyone from doing anything, the more people will be escaping from it, because they don't like being told what to do and what not to do, because they would like to have a living or something like that, right? Just have a have something that they can actually do.
Yeah. They don't want their entire lives controlled by bureaucrats.
Exactly. So people will try to escape to somewhere where it's better. And if they can live like in a border area of one state and work in the other state where there are different restrictions, lower restrictions, they will do that. Just same thing with tax competition. Tax competition is a wonderful thing because it forces states to provide services that they wouldn't otherwise. It forces them to do something to actually be careful about what they do to some extent at least.
And it brings consequences if you decide to just hike these taxes up. I mean,
Exactly.
this is one of the reasons they're so concerned about Brexit.
Exactly.
So they realise, oh, wait,
Exactly.
we could end up with a sort of Singapore-on-Thames deregulated tax haven off the coast of Europe.
Exactly.
It's like, yes, you will.
Not with Boris, but...
Well, yeah, maybe not with Boris, but eventually you might,
Yeah. But tax havens are like wonderful things. And you can tell that they're wonderful things by the way that the EU and other like cartel organizations react to them, right? They are very important and they're amazing, and I applaud every one of them that exists, and they do a great job at attracting people and being competitive.
I really can't understand the left-wing argument, which is just, I mean, in the 2019 elections, it was just raise taxes. Bernie's manifesto was, I'm going to raise your taxes. I don't want my taxes raised. I hate paying taxes.
Most people don't.
Yeah, why would anyone want their taxes raised? So anyway, let's...
Well, a large portion of people don't pay taxes. Like government employees don't pay taxes. They just get paid less. Like you pay taxes off of what you get from taxes.
Yeah. Okay.
So the carbon tariff thing, just something that goes directly against what the EU is selling itself as, is just the result of it shifting from deregulation to regulation, and this is the consequence, this is natural consequence, and this is what you can expect to happen, right? And it's further part of the federalization of Europe, which is not a conspiracy in any way. Like this is, but some people claim it is. It's just unbelievable. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I haven't even heard anyone claiming that it's conspiracy because that's what they openly say that they want.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the United States of Europe, a federalized, homogenized Europe.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the goal. Like that's what they. Okay. Right. Okay.
So that's the main points, I guess. What I wanted to go through. There's a lot more to it, but like if you're interested in any of this, you can find it out for yourself. Like there'll be links on this, and there's a lot to go through. Anyway, so in the end, I thought we might want to look at some of the criticisms of the European Green Deal, because that's fun as well.
Yep.
Turns out, if you look for criticisms, all the top results are left wing.
It doesn't go far enough.
Exactly, doesn't go far enough. So the first one is from Grist. It's not a big outlet, but it's like left-leaning something. The headline says Europe's Green Deal doesn't live up to its name, critics say. Okay, interesting. So, and then the tagline there is Europe's greenwashed deal. That's a line that left-wing journalists and activists repeat quite often in greenwashing.
I can guess what it means.
Yep. And so we'll get to it later as well. And so the main point they have is that this Green New Deal is not enough. It's garbage. It's something that doesn't deliver what was promised, and that they have a better solution. And the better solution is something that was proposed by some other people. I don't exactly know.
Karl Marx, Vladimir Lenin. Yeah.
Don't
call me a cynic. But.
So this is there's a link to a tweet in this article, and the article just revolves around the tweet. And so the Green New Deal for Europe is something else, right? It's something that activists have proposed, other people have proposed.
Yeah.
And this is contrasted with the European Green Deal,
yeah.
which is what we've been talking about. And so you can see where it goes. The 1 trillion of investments, 10 trillion of investments, decarbonized by 2050, decarbonized by 2030.
Oh, so we're just changing the numbers.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, if we've just changed the numbers and said, well, look, these numbers are better, then how we arrive at that conclusion, it doesn't matter.
Sometimes not just the numbers, EU competitiveness and solidarity and global justice.
Oh, every continent for itself. Oh, yeah, that's every continent for itself. Yeah.
Like anyone says that.
Yeah, exactly.
No one ever said that before this person did.
Sorry, you're on your own, South America. Like, Come on,
Right.
this is ridiculous.
So the point of this is just to say, okay, we can do 10 times more than what is proposed.
Yeah.
Yeah, where that if we add a zero, it multiplies.
I'm sure you Nazis can, yeah.
So, quote, Wagan and other left-leaning critics are disappointed by the plan's commitment to the dogma of endless growth. Von der Leyen, whose politics are centre-right by European standards, has called the Green Deal Europe's...
Her politics are centre-right by Europe. Okay.
Has called the Green Deal Europe's new growth strategy and asserted that the plan will allow Europe's GDP to continue to grow while sparing the environment from further harm. And so context, she's being called centre-right.
Yeah.
So this is context for Americans, right? Because like this is saying to like people across the pond that your politics looks very different from ours. Might be true, might not. I mean, there's different forces, but the discussion is indeed being held on a very different level in the European Union and in the US. And so,
right.
Center right. That's where we at. Like the European Green Deal.
Yes.
Supposedly.
So the people in charge of the European Union are now center right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're very corporate, if that's what you mean by being right wing.
I guess that is.
And they're not completely right wing, completely corporate, because they also make concessions for the people who want to be right, who want to be the moral ones, right? And so that's left wing. And so you don't have them being far right. You don't have them being completely corporate. That's how they understand these terms, right?
But it's almost like a kind of merger of state and corporate power.
It is. It's exactly that.
That's fascism. That's what I
That's why I called it that in the beginning. But I guess I was mentioning that too early.
But that ironically is what they're doing.
It is. It's awful.
And they like they said, in every aspect of life, in every aspect of a person's life, every industry, so it's totalitarian as well.
And you can.
Why is it always the Continentals?
You can take part. And
you have to probably.
No. You can take part and sign up to be the individual who does the right thing, and the right thing that you do will be on top of what's mandated by these regulations. But if you don't want to take part, there's still going to be regulations, so you're going to still be required to do the baseline, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the other article. It's Politico. The title is called "The Obscure Energy Pact That Threatens the EU's Green Deal." So the point here is that the Green Deal is basically good, but you've got other treaties and other commitments that might threaten what the Green Deal promises. And so they say that the EU is hunting for the way out of the Energy Charter Treaty. The Energy Charter Treaty is something that threatens the Green Deal, apparently. So it's the deal that could torpedo the Green Deal. The post-Cold War Energy Charter Treaty was designed to boost investment in infrastructure like coal plants and pipelines and help rebuild the former Soviet bloc countries. Okay, so it's something that has been there from the past, and now that the Green Deal is being proposed, this is something that comes into conflict. Now it's coming back to bite the EU's efforts to quickly phase out carbon-emitting utilities and reach net zero emissions by 2050. Okay, I can see what the issue is, right?
Yeah.
And so, what is actually the problem? What does the treaty do? The core problem for EU countries is that the treaty allows private companies to sue governments for damages if the value of future profits or private investment is heard by new legislation. Those suits are heard in private arbitration hearings, not public courts. Oh, right. So the problem is that the EU needs to pay for the damage it causes, right? So there's the one problem.
Yep.
And the other problem is that those cases are heard by impartial judges and not by EU judges.
Well, how are they expected a fair hearing if they're held by partial judges?
Exactly. So they are complaining that one party is not judging its own affairs.
Amazing. I mean, and just for anyone who's unaware, that I think you could probably suggest the very root of justice, at least in Britain, is the fact that but it's not. This is an ancient principle that you shouldn't be the judge in your own complaint. Yep. I mean, that's it's just basic. I don't even know why we have to say it.
And then you look at criminal law in general.
Yeah.
Where the state is the prosecutor and the state is the judge.
Yeah. I mean, this is...
Sounds fair, fair.
It's Roman civic law, isn't it? Oh, God. Okay, yeah.
Where you don't actually get sued by the victims of your crime. You get sued by the state.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
This is why the common law is better. This is why you should go to lotuscaesar.com and check out the book club of the Rule of Law by Lord Bingham that we did. It's very good.
And so let's go to the last article then. Yeah. That's The Guardian, because we might as well end there.
I was like Guardian article.
So the title is "The EU's Green Deal is a colossal example in greenwashing."
Yanis Varoufakis.
Exactly. The author is the Greek far-left former finance minister.
Yes. I actually quite like Yanis Varoufakis. He's ruthless against the European Union.
Is he?
Oh yeah. He's written multiple books about how he's fought with their deep state.
Yeah, but it's because he's a communist, though.
Yeah, absolutely. It's It's
a different kind of communist.
Yeah, it's not that he opposes what they're doing. It's that he thinks that it's a corrupt neoliberal organization, which it is, and it doesn't go far enough in the direction that he wants to go. That it's not that he's got a problem with what they're doing; it's that they're not doing it enoff.
Yeah, that's what this article is about.
I knew it. See, I know. I told you.
Right. So the subheading is Ursula von der Leyen's signature proposal co-opts the slogan of climate activism, but has none of the substance.
God, so predictable.
So the thing they do here is they compared the EU's reaction to the 2008 financial crisis to the European Green Deal. And they're saying that they're comparing the two, and they're saying more than 4.2 trillion to save Europe's financial sector, but only 1 trillion to save our world.
Oh, wow.
So
if it's saving the world,
exactly.
What expense can we possibly spare?
Yep. And so that they're saying, okay, the EU is bad, it's corrupt, because it cares 4.2 times more about the financial sector than about the world. So
it's just communist nonsense.
Yep. But these people, they are the same people who would support, and who undoubtedly did support, EU's and the ECB's action after 2008, right? So what it actually did. So the money that was circulated, the 4.2 trillion, was something that they would support at the time, of course, because that's how you get out of it, supposedly out of the crisis. I don't think so, but that's what they think. Yeah. And now they're criticizing it because it's part of the financial sector, right? Which they don't like.
Of course, just in principle.
Yeah, and so this is kind of all fluid. It changes with time. So, quote, looking at it dispassionately, Europe's Green Deal fails to inspire on all three important criteria: size, composition, and scope. So it's all bad, It's just
the entire thing
promises a lot, delivers nothing.
Yeah,
all talk, no action. In short, the Green Deal is a plan for preservation, not transformation. That's
that
interesting.
Is pretty open, though.
Yeah, but they mean like the preservation of the status quo, and not transformation to a green new future, right? That's what they mean.
Fully automated luxury communism. That's what he means.
Yep. There's an article called "Fully Automated Luxury Serfdom" on lotuseaters.com.
In fact, it was written by me. I was very proud of it, actually.
So, and the last quote that I have is, climate activists will not be placated. In Brussels and around the world, the calls for a genuine Green New Deal continue to grow louder. They will not allow the EU Green Deal to co-opt the slogans while excluding their substance, because this is an emergency, and a greenwashed status quo is simply not enough.
Well, it's not enough for the man who has been a doctrinaire communist for about 30 years. Yep. What a surprise.
And then they plug and then they plug something that they think is better than that.
Of course they do.
Yep. So that's it.
Well, good news for Europe.
It was fun.
Glad to know that we've had Brexit. Thank God we're out.
Does it get worse?
Maybe not for us, but it certainly will on the continent.
It gets worse.